Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. I only want men. That's what some people feel Turki Alalshikh desires for his bouts on Riyadh season. Now, people want to see the females get in there and get on some of those Turki Alalshikh cards. There's not an outcry for that to happen, but there are some that's like, okay, you're doing great things for boxing. Seems like you're doing great things for the men. What about the women? Clarissa Shields has come out and, she's kind of retweeted or commented on tweets that Turki Alalshikh's put out saying that, hey, when are you going to, put me on a fight card? And the thing is, everybody's looking at the money. Boxing, it's called prize fighting. You fight for a prize. So for me, I think it's only right that you look at the money. But I think for Clarissa Shields and these other females, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, Savannah Marshall, Cruz Dezern, all the female fighters, right? I think they really need to stop and understand, what they're up against as far as trying to have Turki Alalshikh put them on a Riyadh season fight card, especially in Saudi Arabia. Now, what I'll say is this. It's only recently, man, in Saudi Arabia where women were allowed to drive cars, to work in different things. And a lot of it, which I don't think a lot of these female fighters understand, is when it comes to gender roles in Saudi Arabia. That whole society, man, it comes from a local culture and interpretations of just religious laws, you know what I'm saying? And it's important to me that those females, get smart on that before they go out there, because I'm telling you right now, some people compare the condition of Saudi women, even today, they compare that to slavery. And I think the fact that there's still those challenges in Saudi society when it comes to women, I think that when it comes to Saudi sport as well, there are going to continue to be challenges. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, man, a lot of people are going to have varying interpretations of what is going on in Saudi. They're going to have various interpretations on Riyadh season and Turki Alalshikh's ultimate end goal. But the bottom line is, if Turki Alalshikh really wants, and Saudi Arabia as a whole, wants to use sport to help change the perception of Saudi Arabia, and they want people to view Saudi Arabia, especially during Riyadh season, as a destination, well, I think it's important that they find a way to incorporate, especially if they're doing it through boxing, incorporate the female fighters onto some of those Riyadh season cards. But I just think I'm trying to imagine Clarissa Shields going out there, right? And she's out here, and then all of a sudden, they say they want her to wear a hijab. A hijab is a covering that covers their head, right? They want her to wear a hijab in the ring, or they want her to wear a burqa, whatever. They want her to cover her body while she's in Saudi. But in the ring, they say she's boxing, the females have to wear hijabs or something to cover their hair. I'm not saying that would happen. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to imagine these women who aren't accustomed to that, trying to force themselves to do something that definitely doesn't come naturally, just because they want to get paid. Now, the flip side to that, I can see them going out there and that coming up. And because I don't think some of these female boxers have an open mind, right? I think a lot of people are closed-minded because, hey, the life you live is the life you live. Your culture is your culture. Some people aren't very open-minded up of other people's cultures. And maybe I am because the way I grew up, you know what I'm saying? American culture, Caribbean culture, and some other cultures, which I ain't going to talk about. And then, at 19, joined the military. already having an expanded background and diversity and just from people, race, religion, everything, right? They joined the military and having traveled all around the world and being all kind of different countries, right? So for me, at age 49, I would handle that shit totally different now. You know what I'm saying? Shit, in the military, I got both my ears were pierced. You know, I couldn't wear my earrings and shit. So it's not a big, me having to make a little refinement, not a big deal to get the job done. But I'm just trying to imagine them going out there and all of a sudden, if they find themselves in a position where they're in Saudi and they don't agree with something, because in order for the boxing match to go forward, maybe there's an expectation on what they're going to wear. And all of a sudden you find them talking about they want to speak out about women's rights and shit like that. And that shit I just think can go left big time, man. I think there's a time and place for everything, and if they want to speak on stuff, I just don't think it should happen in Saudi. So if I'm talking about this, I'm pretty sure that in Saudi Arabia there are discussions, and maybe that's why females haven't started fighting on those cards yet. But I'd be curious to see if they decide to bring females onto the Riyadh season card, right? I'd be curious to see the level of enforcement of, I think their laws and the levels of enforcement of the Saudi culture onto the female boxers. I would be very interested to see just what level of enforcement or what would be enforced, because I think that's interesting, and I would be interested to see just which female boxers would actually permit the Saudi Arabia or Turki Alalshikh, right, would permit them to impose a dress code. But that being said, when it comes to gender mixing, Saudi boxing, I just think right now to keep things, stress free for Turki Alalshikh, I think he's like, I only want men over here. Any of my fight cards, only men. But it would be interesting to see if it goes that direction and they decide to pick up women and put them on the fight cards. I think there are a lot of women who are interested and want to. I just think there are going to be certain lines they're going to draw in the sand and say, okay, well, this is a deal breaker for me. No matter how much money it is, this isn't something I'm comfortable with. But then there are going to be some that like, shit, I don't care what you want me to do, man. I'll sit here and got breakdance like that Australian chick in the Olympics. I can't look any more dumb than her if I got to wear a hijab or whatever it is rules you're going to enforce on me. As long as I get to that cha-ching, ching, Wu-Tang cream. That being said, let's sit back and see how it goes, man, because I just think there's still a lot of room for growth in Saudi Arabia with women and women's rights. And when it comes to women's sport, I think there's a lot of room for growth. And maybe this is the vehicle necessary to show some growth in those areas. If Saudi Arabia really wants the international community to view them as a destination and to not see them as this iron-fisted, this dictatorship that rules everything on what I would say a flawed governing system that's supposed to be based off of, I would just say religious laws, right? Then I think, getting women out there, especially women from the United States, the UK, or wherever they're from, not just from, Islamic countries, and let them come out there and fight. And if their hair is braided or pulled back or however they have their hair, allow them to do that without covering themselves up. I think that would be a step in the right direction. But that's just me, Hood Champion, having a conversation, because I saw Clarissa Shields post something, and I saw I think Cruz Discern post something. And then I was thinking about Savannah Marshall. I'm like, she disappeared, but I know she had got injured. Then she did an MMA bout, and I'm like, what's up with all these? That'd be nice to see some of them over there, getting an opportunity at that Saudi money, or that sovereign wealth fund. But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. If Turki Alalshikh were to do it, he'd probably have him fighting in the States or fighting in the UK. I don't know if he'd bring him over to Saudi Arabia. I just don't think so, man. Because the bottom line is when you talk about Saudi Arabia, look, more than 8 in 10 Saudi women and 3/4 of Saudi men agree that women should be allowed to hold jobs for which they're qualified. But the bottom line is, it still doesn't happen. So it doesn't matter what demand is placed on Saudi Arabia leadership and Turki Alalshikh. Ultimately, it comes down to the decision makers. And right now, it seems the decision is to not have women come to Saudi Arabia and fight. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Y'all, I'm in the breeze.